What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Casey and Michelle, and we are discussing episode 2 of Dead City from the Walking Dead universe. How are we feeling about the show so far?
It's picking up. I'll give it that because I still have the same attitude I have about the last one with Maggie and her damn attitude.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl,
Yeah.
just give them a little bit. You don't want to accept this much help. You almost fell off a roof because you ain't
right. that part.
Come on,
did you have to keep? No, I don't need no help. Honey, you need some help.
You're only a $1.25 soaking wet,
right?
And then you didn't get to push off like Negan and like Ethel did. And then, you know what I noticed in this episode that I never noticed before, probably because it's never been a thing before? Maggie is afraid of heights, like real heights, because we've only ever seen her like maybe on the top of a like the apartment building, which in, hindsight wasn't really that high, but this
in New York,
you're on skyscrapers. If we think about it, Maggie came from the country. She probably has never been on a building this tall before. Right. And then you have to grab these two little handlebars and zip line to another building.
What if you don't have no upper body strength?
Yeah, that would be me. Let me hold on to it with my legs. I'm not doing it with my.
Cause your upper body strength, honey, just come pick me up off the floor.
But you know what? If you take a look down and you see what's awaiting for you, I bet you that body strength will just, that adrenaline will give you some.
But I would get some help because my arms will be on fire. Be like, oh, I can't make it. Yeah, I need you to pull me in. But see, you distracted. You get that little music playing. You all got distracted, honey. We don't got time for distractions. Throw yourself to the next building.
Because we saw it in the last episode when they were luring the walkers. You see it again in this episode. Who's playing the music and what are y'all playing the music for? Like, I'm really curious. But yeah, that whole zip line thing. And then even when they were going up the stairs and Negan was looking at Maggie, because when she first saw it, she looked down and she saw the walkers and she looked sick. And I was like, Maggie, you've been in this for almost 20 years. There's no way a walker can still make you sick. So I was like, it must be the height. And then when they were on the ladder,
he told her, don't look down.
Yeah, he was like, don't look down or you're going to toss your cookies. I think at that point he figured out that she didn't like heights too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me as well, Maggie, I think at this point I'm ready to say she needs to get over it. She needs to get over it. Like just the different things, the way she was looking at him in the episode, the conversation that they had about the Croat when the Croat first came to him and everything. Now, so we talk about this a lot with the Walking Dead universe, and I tell you about the reactions on Twitter, how people are always, there are a lot of people who still hate Negan, who still feel like he was a monster. He's always been a monster. He'll always be a monster, that sort of thing, da. So when they were having a conversation and he was talking about the Croat and when the Croat first came to him and, just the way that he was presenting this story, Maggie said something to him about, oh, it takes a monster to make a monster. And he was like, no, like he was upset by the insinuation.
Right.
And I was like, I really think that people really do either forget or ignore the fact that the Negan that we met was not the Negan. That was not how he started out in the world. Granted, yes, we got the Here's Negan episode later, so we get to retroactively see what type of person he was. But if you remember in the beginning, Negan couldn't even kill a doggone walker. His wife had to do it.
His wife had to do it.
And I feel like the way that he's describing the Croat, he says, right after the world went to shit soup. meaning this was before he became Savior Negan, in my opinion. Because if you think about it, what we know of the Saviors and what we know of the Sanctuary, the Saviors were being led by someone else. And Negan didn't like the way that they were running things, so he ended up taking over. I feel like, as far as that whole, it takes a monster to make a monster, it wasn't necessarily that Negan made the Croat into a monster. I feel like it might have been the other way around. Because if you listen carefully to his conversation, when he's talking about right before they, met up with the kingdom, there was this woman that was in a car. Negan thought she was just a drifter. The Croat thought, no, she's a spy. And Negan says that after the Croat did whatever the Croat does, meaning torture, that's when she copped to being a spy. Now, he never said who she was a spy for, but he said, the Croat was right. She was a spy. Kind of sort of feel like that might have been the turning point for Negan in, him being like, okay, stop looking for the best in people, or stop assuming that people aren't the bad guy. Like, I really feel like that conversation was telling in that way. Like, Negan wasn't always the monster. He wasn't always what Maggie knew him to be. He even says it in this conversation. He said, I was only mean or violent, whatever, when I needed to be, when I had to protect my people. I mean, think about it. He had to do that when he went back to the bar to find the people that kept him from getting to Lucille, and he found them, they had attacked the doctor, they were raping Laura. So that was probably the start of it. But I'm like, she needs to stop just automatically assuming that based on what she knows, what she said to him,
that fundamentally is right. And that fundamentally, that is him. So what I even gathered from the conversation is not the Croat created him. It's basically like he said, I did it when I needed to do it. And it's a character. And it's a character that you have to do even when he was burning off husbands' faces and stuff, because again, we have rules and regulations and people have to see the reason to follow the rules and regulations.
Yeah. Now, it was extreme, his punishment.
Yeah, but if it's not extreme, then we will have a group within the group trying to take over. So you have to be right. So you have to be extreme into doing that, and you need that character. So sometimes when he's at home, he's just chilling and not acting that way with one of his wives, not even dealing with that. So, but she still doesn't get that. Like it's like we're in a world and everyone decided what they needed to be in order to survive. And then he needed to survive. He did that. It didn't work for his wife. He needed to be something else. And then now that you have a group of people that you're taking care of, you have to do things that are not popular.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't necessarily going to be right, but it's not popular, but that's what he needed to be. And that's what she still don't get that.
Right. And
after they have done things that they needed to do to survive.
Right. Exactly. But also too, like, for some people, they have to go to that extreme. You have to become, like you said, a character. Think about Ezekiel. Ezekiel took on the role of a like a Shakespearean king, accent and all.
Right.
Because that was what his people needed.
Right. And you see where he came from. So it's like, this is what I need to do to survive. And now I have a group of people. I have to be their leader.
Right. And I think too, the environments that they were in probably informed those decisions. Ezekiel was part of a group that were just trying to survive. They had kids. They were trying to raise children. They were trying to find some semblance of normal. Negan, unfortunately, his journey started out violent. You know what I'm saying? I think if Negan had gotten back to Lucille and she had still been alive and she had, he had been able to get her the treatment, Negan would have been a totally different person, because of the kindness of Laura and her father. they took him in. They were like, okay, we realize you must be desperate in order to come on us with an empty gun. What's your story? Oh, we can help you with that. Come find us if you need us, that sort of thing. If that had been his last interaction before he went home and he didn't have any issues, he would have been a totally different person. I think even if he had gotten back to Lucille and she had still killed herself and all that other stuff, but he didn't have the delay of the biker gang, I still don't think he would have been this cruel person.
He would either have died because he doesn't really know how to survive, or he just would have joined the group and just be within the group.
Yeah. I don't think he would have been the leader or the person that he is now, but
been a follower, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
But as we see in this episode, you kind of sort of need that when you're dealing with assholes bigger than you. You have to have that facade, or you have to be able to change course. Negan in this episode, he was the one that was kind of trying to talk some sense into Maggie, like, yo, you didn't have to lie to them. That's the reason why we're in this dank ass bathroom, because you lied to them instead of giving a little, being like, oh, okay, so we realize we're in your territory, but let me tell you why we're in your territory. Because if those people, the tribes people, if they were part of the Croats group, or if they were a group that was more violent, heavy, then Negan and Maggie probably wouldn't have made it through that door.
Hell no.
Or they would have been treated a little bit worse than they were. And again, one of the things about Negan, we talk about his bad traits, but one of the things about him, he's pretty good at reading people.
Right, and that's what I was about to say. He knows how to read the room, and clearly she doesn't.
Does not.
So you really need that help, because
and you see,
that point,
she's so stubborn, she's not gonna take it.
No, because he knew at this point that you just need to tell the truth. Right. Yeah. Just tell the truth.
The right way. The truth is gonna get you way more. Because come on now.
And no one's gonna believe that mess.
And they did it.
First of all,
you locked in the bathroom.
How you gonna say that you got washed ashore by a storm? You think they wouldn't know a storm was there? When she said that, I was like,
they collecting rainwater, so yeah, they know when the storm coming.
You couldn't come up with something better than that. Anyway, but yeah, as far as going back to the whole her judging him. So when that little area, the hideout for the tribes people, when they get raided by the Croats group and they have to leave, and of course, one of the guys, he grabs Ethel, who is the old lady that encountered Negan and Maggie in the dry cleaning building. He kills her. And at this point, Maggie looks horrified. Negan is pissed, because Negan,
this little old lady helped us.
Yeah,
right.
She helped him. She gave him some pigeons, He was like, oh, okay, so this is what you about to do. Okay, so I'm about to handle this. He tells Maggie to go with the rest of the group. He was like, I'll catch up. I got this. So he goes back into the building and Maggie follows him.
I can know that.
When he comes out the dark and they pan on his face, you see his entire demeanor has changed. I was
yes,
like,
it has.
They about to get the old Negan right here.
Yes, it has.
What? And I have to say, as much as I didn't like old Negan as far as what he did to our group, old Negan has always been entertaining. I mean, that was one of the things about his character. He's very charismatic. He's very charming when he wants to be, and he can be like the funniest asshole. So he takes this guy, he starts pushing his head through glass windows, telling a damn knock-knock joke. And while he's doing this, Maggie is in the background kind of watching him. And it's interesting because she keeps looking at him with this look of horror, like she can't believe he's doing this. But I'm like, did you not see the guy just kill this old lady? Like that, to me, that's what you should have been horrified by, because what could that old lady have done to you?
But this is the reason why you want him to come along with you.
Thank you.
This is the reason.
She like him like that when it's beneficial to her.
Right.
Yes, but
And
that's the problem because
all of it's gonna be beneficial to her if she get her head out her ass and accept the help that he's giving you.
Mm-hmm.
On that.
But the other thing,
even in his switch back to the old Negan, he's still helping you, and you don't realize. You may not want to see it because of what you went through, the trauma you got, but at the end of the day, guess what? He's saving your ass.
Right, and it's needed. Like, y'all can't come in here soft. I mean,
y'all
you
just gathered all
can't.
y'all shit and ran.
You can't come in soft with the Croat. You can't do that when you try and get your son back. Because he's going to be like, oh, yeah, I got them. So Negan had to come in hard so the message can be relayed.
Right. Like, leave us the fuck alone.
Right.
You know, even though
they relaying that message. Oh, they stuck Bob's head through the window, you know, and cut his guts open and sprayed it all over us.
Man, let me tell you.
They're going to run back and report, oh, everybody ran. We tried to chase him down. We got one old lady on the roof.
Right.
That's your message.
Right.
Hell no.
No.
These guts.
Raining. Raining blood.
He said, let me get these guts.
That was gross.
Disgusting.
But the other thing too is when you look at it, when you look at Negan's face and his reaction, like when he turns around and sees Maggie, he's kind of jarred for a minute because again, this is not the person he has been trying to get away from this person as much as he needs to, you know, but like at some point, Negan has survived as long as he has because of, you know, who he is.
Yeah.
And sometimes that person comes in handy. Like you said, Maggie, you went and searched him out.
Yeah.
You know, if he was somebody that was like that knew the Croat, but was like let's say like a Dale or even like a Glenn, you know, where somebody who was has a little bit more compassion, you know, somebody who's not going to be as cruel as might be needed in this situation, she wouldn't have sought him out if he had that type of demeanor.
No.
You know? So and obviously if she's in the New Babylon area and she's seen these posters, these wanted posters for him, she's like, oh, okay, so that part of him is still there. I'm gonna need that.
Yeah, in her mind, and that's the thing. In her mind, she knew that she needed it, but she didn't expect to ever see it. It's been a while, though. To be honest with you, it's been a while. He hadn't had to be this since he was, you know, defeated.
Right. But
he's been totally different. So now how many years has that been? It's been a while.
Yeah.
Let's say 10, I don't know, 12.
Yeah,
time has passed here too.
No, because Hershel hadn't been born yet. So shit, we don't know how many years.
Yeah, no, Hershel had been born at that point.
When they was defeated, I thought she was still pregnant. Was he born? Okay. So still he's a toddler.
Yeah, he's a toddler. Because remember Greg, she was at the Hilltop and Gregory tried to kill her when she was pushing Hershel.
I do.
That was before all of that. But yeah,
so seeing that scared the shit out of her. That's basically what it did. Because she went back into that moment when the whole situation with Glenn and that person. See, that's the person.
But you know what?
But again, it's a character that needed to be played, which he told you about the day before. I need to do this. I had to do this to protect my people. And I'm doing this now because they ain't have to kill Rose.
Oh,
you said Rose.
Oh, sweet old lady.
They
didn't have to.
The fifth golden girl.
They didn't have to kill her.
They didn't.
So that would have pissed me off too. Okay.
But you see what killing one of his people do. It bring them back.
And she's not even like his person. Like
she helped rescue them low key.
Yeah. But see, he don't believe in doing that to old people and children.
Yeah.
Because he said that again earlier well, even if that girl was a spy or not, we don't really know, because when your ass being tortured, I would say all kind of shit too.
Right.
Was she really? Let's be honest. Was she
and
really?
He did say to what she cops to, but
right before. So he don't believe in the children. He don't believe in old people.
So anyway, I guess that I hope that message is loud and clear. But again, for Maggie, I understand that might have been traumatic for her to see that. But again, you went and got him.
That's what you asked for.
So you need to be operating under the knowledge that, okay, I went and told this man that he was going to help me. So I need to be prepared for whatever that help entails.
Right.
This is Negan. You know what he's capable of. So you know what you were asking for when you went to find him. You weren't going to find peaceful, let me get down on my knees. Please don't shoot my wife, Negan. That's not the Negan you're looking for.
And that Negan wouldn't have got you shit.
You're looking for little pig, let me in Negan. You're looking for that cruel Negan, the one who's going to get some shit done.
And I have no sympathy for her, which I should. And, I get people yelling at me for this. But I feel bad for him, because you have worked hard on separating yourself and not having to be that character, and not having to do that, and to just be different, and you had to go back to that place, which is dark,
because you still do feel some sort of obligation, like, okay, you know what, I do still need to make up for what I did to her.
Yeah, but you have to do that, and it's just like you giving up something that good or bad may have given him control, may have made him feel more powerful, because he didn't have that power when he was with his wife. He was powerless. He had that power. He let that power go, realized that power wasn't good the way he used it. And then now you tap into it.
Right.
Because at this point, he can go either way. We can end this series where he said, fuck it, I'm going back to that source.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And so here, like when they were sitting there and she's like, oh, hell, what I just witnessed? And he's probably thinking, what did I just do? I'd try to get away from that. And look how easily I slipped right into it.
It's like a switch.
Right. Like you piss me off enough and I can do it.
Yeah. And then, in the end, she ends up telling the tribes people what she's there for anyway. Once they're safely away.
Right.
And Negan is taking the glass out of his hands from when he's the old boy through the windows. And you see the way he's looking at his hands like, damn, I had to go back to this.
Yeah.
Especially with the way Luther is looking at him. Luther is looking at him like, I don't like you. I'm like, he's the only person that went and avenged your people.
Right. But
and why you Luther looking at him like?
Because that's someone that I not necessarily think I can beat him.
Outside.
You know what I'm saying? Before, I know I can get all of them at any point. I had some control of the situation. Now, we got a little monster on our hands. That man can flip out on us, and I don't think I can take him. That's that look.
Oh, no, Luther is a big dude, but
Yeah, but what you just saw,
I know.
It don't have to do anything with size.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. But Luther and them didn't see that, so they still don't know that part of Negan. Because they were all gone at that point.
Yeah, but they heard.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sure that was relayed.
Yeah, that heard what happened.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't think Maggie would have said something about that. Because of the fact that they will be looking like, oh, you know what? If he can do that, he need to get the fuck on from us. Because at that point they really still don't know each other very well.
Nope.
But at that point, Maggie does tell them, "We're here for a man named the Croat. He has my son."
And so we can help you with that.
Right. So then Amaya and Tommaso are the two main people out of this group that we've met. She's like, we can help you with that if you're looking to get killed. And they pan to Negan's face, and Negan's looking like, this ain't what I signed up for.
At all.
But, you know, just like, oh, that's the other thing. So when they were having this conversation in the bathroom and Negan was telling her about his history with the Croat and how after the Croat did whatever it was that he did to the so-called spy, Negan was like, he had to go. And I don't know what kind of tussle there was. I don't know what it was, but we do know that Negan tried to kill the Croat. He missed. He shot his ear off. And so Maggie was like, so that means he's going to be looking to kill you. And Negan was like, yes, he is. She was like, you don't think you should have told me that before? Excuse me.
I think it would have mattered to her.
No.
Let's come on this journey.
I don't even think it would have mattered to her, though.
And yeah, you didn't ask. You didn't ask what his relationship was with the Croat. You automatically assumed because they were both in in the Saviors, you just automatically assumed that the Croat was one of his cronies who followed behind
his best friend.
Blah blah blah. So you didn't even bother to ask what the dynamic was when you mentioned to Negan that the Croat was the person who raided you. I mean, even the look on Negan's face when she mentioned him, that for Negan to be like, I don't know who you're talking about, that was like, I'm not touching that subject. I don't want to go there.
Hell no.
I don't even want to get involved in this. Why would he volunteer that information?
Right.
But yeah, I know she's worried about her son, and everything that she's starting to hear about the Croat is not, I'm sure in her mind, there is probably a small piece of her that feels like Hershel could already be dead. Because we already know the Croat really, he's non-discriminatory in who he tortures.
That is true.
Kills. Like Negan said, the so-called spy, he said she was just a kid. Now I know he didn't mean like a child, but she
to
could
him,
have been like Lydia's
18,
age,
20, 21.
Yeah, which would have still been a kid to him. I mean, think about it. Negan was a high school teacher. So any older child would still be a kid to him.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. I just need her. I need her to, she needs to quickly work through whatever it is she got going on in her head so that she can get her son, so she can focus on getting her son, because you can't focus on getting your son and still standing there actively hating the man that you went to go get to help you get your son. It's not going to work. You're too distracted. You're unfocused. You're not making good decisions. Come on, this is Maggie who ran with.
And that's why I say, if at some point she don't get the fucking chip off her shoulder, me even being Negan, now you know that me and the Croat's relationship ain't good, bitch, I will leave you here.
Right.
Like, what am I getting out of it?
Right.
Because number one, if you already think Hershel dead, why continue? Why? You know what I mean? Yes, there's always the hope that he is still alive. But if you feel like he gone, why would I continue to help you? You treat me like shit. And when I do try to help you, you don't want my help. Like, what's the point of me being here at this point? Because I feel like I killed your husband. I get it. I apologize. I've tried to make amends, several times over this whole Walking Dead, the end of the series. I've tried to make amends with you. Now you are not required to accept my apology. You're not required to do any of those things. But in my mind, I would have done enough. I've tried my best to make it up to you. But if you are still at this point, week 12, you let me sit in jail, that whole thing went on, I saved your son. Like, bitch, come on now. Because at this point, what the fuck else you want?
You're right.
Because I would be so outdone with her. Like, nah, I ain't helping you. I'm good. Let me go get Ginny and I'll be out. Y'all keeping her safe, but yeah, it's not worth it to her.
Perfect segue, because that's what I want to talk about next.
She need a whooping.
I knew you were going to say that, but before we even get to that part, okay, so we see where the new Hilltop is. And
yes.
I gotta say, this is a lot bigger than the old location that they had. Looks like they're more productive here. Okay, so when we first see the new Hilltop, you see that one of the doors has been knocked down and they're sitting there trying to repair the brick wall. So my question is, towards the end, when we see Ginny trying to escape from there, your community got raided. Your son got kidnapped. Why the fuck is there only one guard standing at the door? I was like,
everybody else.
Y'all only have one person on watch, and then as soon as he hears some rocks, he leaves the front door and goes to check out the noise. Where's the backup? Where's the other person?
Has she not learned anything from Rich? I'm confused.
Well, I can't even blame her at this point because she's not there. So who?
Yeah, but she should have left instructions for who's in charge. Come on now.
But is that really an instruction to leave? That's fucking common sense. Like, is there an instruction? Hey, have more than one person.
Like your whole community just got raided. I'm assuming you probably had more people on watch during that, or maybe that's why they got raided because they only had one fucking person at the door.
Yeah.
Because they did say, what did she say? She said they came at night and they scaled the walls.
Yeah, because nobody's paying attention.
If you only got one person on watch, I'm like, come on, y'all.
And that's
the whole perimeter.
And it's for everyone. It's like, it's not just the Croat, it's other people wanting supplies. She's been through this before. You leave people in charge.
Like, okay,
so now it makes me question. Now it makes me question the other location she had that.
You mean the other locations? But she wasn't in charge in those other places. But here's the thing. Again,
she said her people when they met back up last time. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
She was in charge.
But this could easily also just be a writer's thing. Like they just, when they directed the episode, they're like, oh, we're just going to put one person on watch. Yeah, I don't think we've been watching this show long enough to question stuff like that. Why do you only have one person on watch? And he has a stick and that's it. At this point, y'all have been raided. Your leader's son has been kidnapped. You need to be at the door with an automatic rifle. Period. You need to be there with more than what you have. I mean, I get it. You don't want to use the guns because it'll draw the walkers. And right now, your ass don't have a front door. I get it. But there should have been at least two people standing at that door. At the very least. There should have been other people like on the roof, or there should have been other lookouts. Ginny, this child who doesn't know the lay of the land, should not have been able to get out so easily. And still a bike on top of that. I was like, this is why y'all got raided. This is why y'all got raided.
I said, y'all got the worst goddamn security. You may as well leave the gate open and say, hey, come in and take what you want. Just don't hurt nobody.
Like, you're guarding a front door that has been knocked out of the foundation. That should tell you you're going to need more than one person standing at that door. And that dude looks so little, like I probably could have taken him and thrown him somewhere. Yeah. Can we get more than one guard?
Give me your shit.
Can we get more than one guard at the door?
Maybe they don't have that many people and they doing the best that they can. But they got all them fucking kids that train them kids like Padre and put their ass to work.
Right.
I'm saying, hell, even remember at the prison, even Carol was training kids. Y'all better train these fucking kids.
And
yeah, you got
reading
and writing in the morning, and in the afternoon, y'all better get on here on these weapons.
I do think they are doing weapons training because if you remember the flashback that we saw when Ginny was sitting in the room, apparently the room that they put her in was Hershel's room. So you see a flashback of Maggie coming in the room, and she's kind of fussing at Hershel because he's missed weapons training. And she was like, this is the third time you skipped this month. And I don't know what the deal is with Hershel, but I mean, granted, it could just be typical teenage stuff. Because in that flashback, he does look like he could have been like maybe, I would say, around 13. Because one, if you're a 10-year-old and you acting like that towards your mama, I'm sorry, I'm a black mama. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. Two, obviously there's some tension there. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that he's just tired of living that way, which, I mean, this is how you grew up, dude. You don't know any other way. You don't know that things are better or whatever. But anyway,
well, no, he did live in Alexandria, so he knows houses.
But so, when he got to Alexandria, it had been been torn apart by the storm. It had been trampled by the whisperers. So, I mean, you've always lived in some rough times. But I mean, at least you're in this Hilltop. Dude, you got your own bedroom.
But it was easily taken away from him, so I'm confused. Can I may come back? Why my room being given away? Damn, y'all can't even.
Y'all ain't even let
from a bed to get cold.
Right, you ain't even let the paint dry good.
But so anyway, like I was saying, in that flashback, we see that there's some trouble between her and Hershel. She, Hershel is not in a good place right now. He's basically ignoring his mom. He does seem like he's an artist, and she tries to compliment him on a drawing and he snatches it from her. He's like, it's horrible or whatever the case, and he throws it. He's like, I'm going to Xander's, and he leaves out. And I'm like, what's the deal with this kid?
Who the hell you talking to?
Right.
As you snatch the back of that neck and pull you back into that room. Who are you talking to?
Yeah. But from this flashback, we know they do have weapons training for the kids. Everybody is trained. And she says that I keep telling you how important it is to be prepared. And he was like, be prepared for anything. She was like, yeah, so why? What? And I don't know. I mean, I know from the comics that Hershel and Maggie have a difficult relationship because she's always gone all the time trying to, fix stuff, save stuff, whatever. And I know that from what I've heard, he kind of has a chip on his shoulder because of that. And he actually grows up to be an asshole, but it's just, I don't know. Like, if you're preparing these kids for what's out there, you're giving them weapons training. We saw in the school, they are doing training as far as like they're learning how to forge. They're learning what to look for, what's poisonous, what's not poisonous. You're doing all of this training for these kids. But if you as adults don't have the common sense to put more than one guard at the door, what are you training them for? Like,
I don't know.
That bothered me when I saw it. I was like, wait, do they only have one person guarding this door? And also, I need to know why Ginny is so fascinated with the grain silo. Because if you notice, when she first comes into Hilltop and the woman, Nina, is showing her around, she sees a guy climbing up into the grain silo and she just kind of looks at it like, And then when she's leaving, she turns to look at it again. And it's like,
maybe it reminds her of something.
Maybe.
It must have. It has to.
But the fact that they focus on that, I've talked about this with other shows. When they make a point of focusing on something like that, that's seemingly innocent or seemingly like a small thing, it's gonna come into play later on. So I'm like, what is it? Is she gonna hide in that thing later on? But I mean, she's leaving Hilltop now, so we don't know. Like, I don't know. It was just interesting. It was just interesting. And please, I'm gonna tell y'all now, Michelle, you're a teacher. If we're ever in an apocalypse and you have students that you are teaching, please don't do the whole, oh, let's give her a warm welcome to. I was like, really? Do we have to do that? Like, put the children on the spot, and like, it's already not bad enough that they're coming to a community by themselves during a zombie apocalypse. Chances are there's already a tragic story behind this child, plus the fact that she does not talk. Then you lie and say she comes from Oceanside. So, okay, let's talk about this too.
Wait, side note on that one. I'm sorry to say I will not be teaching class during the apocalypse. I'm sorry. If I have to do any teaching, it will be weapons training.
There you go.
Because I'll find me another profession at that point.
Guards at the door.
Correct.
You'll be charged of the army. We have to put more than one person in front. Hello.
So now y'all done mentioned Oceanside, which, okay, I get tying the shows together. You're still trying to keep that continuity, since you were so big on saying that, Casey, that this is a continuation. But y'all didn't even give us proper closure of Oceanside in the main show. Why y'all bringing this up here? And then y'all are telling us that she came from Oceanside. So again, that makes me wonder, where the hell is this New Babylon, and where's this new Hilltop? Like, are y'all really that
There's
close?
Nobody else from Oceanside in Hilltop? Because remember, for all intents and purposes, Oceanside was shut down.
We don't know.
Well, we don't know what happened to them.
We don't know what happened to them, because the last thing we heard about Oceanside was when Luke and Jules met up with Aaron, and they were like, yeah, so these people from the Commonwealth came and took up. We don't know what happened after that. Now, I'm sure they probably got liberated once everything happened. Pamela Milton fell, and Ezekiel and Mercer are now leading the Commonwealth. I'm sure they probably sent somebody to go pull those troops. But still, y'all didn't even give us proper closure about Oceanside. Still don't know where the hell Cindy is, even though you had Luke mention her during this Commonwealth takeover. We should have stayed with Cindy. We ain't seen Cindy in 4 years. The last time we saw her was what? When they were killing a rat? Before Rick died? So y'all ain't even give us proper closure.
Yeah, even when Lance went to countryside. Even when Lance went to Oceanside, and remember they were lining everybody up when he was flipping the coin, she wasn't in that either.
Nope.
Right.
Nobody we knew was in that group.
Right. But now all of a sudden, Ginny is supposed to be from Oceanside.
Well, maybe, when everything cleared the dust, because I feel like Oceanside got shot up. However, it's free land, so some people may have went to Oceanside. That was that group that went to Oceanside because that was some available real estate. There's just no need to even mention Oceanside. You could just be like, we found her on the streets. I mean,
right.
Because what if somebody knew somebody at Oceanside? Oh, what happened to Annie or Jackie or
Annie, like I just came from Oceanside on vacation. I ain't see you there.
Right. Right.
Or who is your mama at Oceanside?
Right.
Daddy, because we know they killed. Well, not the daddy. Who is your mama? Because they killed all the men.
So that kind of bothered me about the whole Hilltop thing. Them not having the guards, and just the ease with which Ginny was able to sneak out of there. Like, really, all it took was a couple of rocks. Again, no wonder y'all ass got raided. Come on now, you should know better than this.
Y'all let a 12-year-old, wait, how old is she? Is 12 our number?
Let a 12-year-old. 12's our number.
Yeah.
Let a 12-year-old outsmart you and sneak out the gate and steal your goddamn bike. She deboed y'all ass. You my goddamn bike.
Right.
She straight deboed y'all and took y'all fucking bike with supplies. Y'all fucking suck. You don't have a guard on your supplies. You don't have a guard on your transportation. You damn sure ain't got a guard at the gate.
At the door. Right.
At all.
So y'all just got free reign up in here. Like, let me get what I need. I'll be back.
Like, did y'all not have somebody kidnapped from here just a few weeks ago? Or maybe
clearly they don't care. They gave the boy room away. And I thought Maggie was the leader. I mean, like, I understand you don't want to go back to how Commonwealth was acting beforehand, with Pamela and favoritism and classism and all that. But damn, I mean, y'all walking around like not on high alert, Like, y'all happy Maggie gone. I mean, like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, and look, we could just be saying it. That could have been a whole different bedroom, but the way that they kind of panned
because they get right because they
then changed the color and she came back. Yep.
It's the same room.
So, that's all I had to say about that. I was just like, so that's how we doing things at Hilltop now.
Okay. Hey, if it's a space open, somebody slide right back in.
Right. And the thing is, Maggie's disposition don't even fit Hillside. Like, it just seemed like it just need to be a different leader.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know, cause like it could be Carol, because Carol can go both ways when she needs to.
Probably Maggie could too, but of course, if you think about it, in the flashback that we saw of her, she is upset because Hershel has missed training.
Yeah, but she looks like that all the time. That's the problem I'm having with her. It's like it is affecting your son, because clearly we see that.
Yeah.
In that, it's like that's why she needs to get this off of her the best way she can.
Right.
You can still grieve it. It's still a part of your history. It's still every day. It's like now she has to make that choice. Is this going to control my life, or am I going to control my life?
Right.
And I feel like she holding on to that goddamn resentment, because if you ain't
does
that, what else you got?
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she does have something. She has Hershel.
Barely.
Because if she didn't have
a teenager right now,
right? If she didn't have Hershel, I can see you hold on to that.
Yeah.
Right. Even let go of that shit for his ass. Because goddamn, he knows the history. He knows what happened. But trust me, you know the bitterness you carry go to your goddamn children. Like you ain't doing that boy no, and you wonder why he run around with a fucking attitude. Look at you.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, that's what it seems like. Yeah.
And I get it. You want him to be on high alert in case there ever is, like, even as he's growing, another Negan situation where there is some, this type of bad person out there. But you trying so hard to keep him trained and this and all these other things to protect him, you fucking smothering him. And he is like, ma'am,
right.
Let just let the cover up a little bit, just so I can get some fresh air in.
Right.
Smothering me to death, even at 12. Yeah. And we understand, like we totally get the logic, but you still have to have that balance. You don't have no balance.
Right. And that's what I was just about to say. It's like,
that's a great one.
Yes,
balance.
You understand that this is a different world. People can come in, they can come after you, they can come and take what you have. But you have to give that boy some joy too, kind of like, she talked about this when she came back to the group about when she left the group, she took Hershel to her grandparents' old house on the beach, and they were there for a while, and it was happy times for them. And then they had to leave, I think, because people started coming around, and I think she wanted to keep him safe. So, yeah, you still got to find some kind of joy in all of this. Because
if you look at, you won't have any. And it's not. And when you look at everyone else in the group, the main group, the main family, like they have gone through things too. And you can see them creating a balance back and forth. Sometimes you may have to do things like Carol had to go off into the woods and live to get herself together occasionally, and Rick bounced back on the line, but then their kids are better for it. Judith was better for it.
But Judith had Michonne. Michonne was one of those.
But Michonne was also had balance too, because she went through a lot, and she was able. I'm just saying that they were able to go back and forth, and then to their kids, inspire them to say we can have a better future.
Yeah.
Even though there's shit going on, we got to find the good in people. Sometimes it's hard for us to find the good in people. We got to find good in people. We got to find what we can, spend time with each other when we can. When your parents don't go off and leave you with your uncle, and then your uncle leave, Then I don't know who watching you right now, but okay. You know, you just
Ezekiel is watching them. But I don't know. At this point, depending on, like we said, depending on how many years this has passed, if it's been like 4 or 5 years, Judith is literally about 16, 17.
She's watching her brother. So, oh my gosh, that's a different episode. We got to talk about that because I'm like, you just literally just realized you left your kid. You may be gone for a couple years. Okay. Poor Rick Jr.
Yeah. Because again, we don't know where their story falls in this Dead City timeline. So we don't know if Rick and Michonne have returned already.
I hope they have, okay? And I hope it hadn't been years because poor children. Right. However, even with all of that going on, even the kids had a balance, you know, but poor Hershel, he has to walk around with nothing wrong with being depressed. I got that. But you have to see how it is influencing your kid. So then he has this hatred. He gonna then, again, we talk about cycles. He then gonna go after Negan if Negan survives this. All because of all the things that you made my mom feel, what she went through. And it was my dad. I didn't get a chance to spend time with my dad. On and on and on.
And here's the other thing, too, that could be affecting Hershel. And we talked about this in the last episode. So, again, we don't know where New Babylon is, but we know it can't be very close to Commonwealth or Alexandria because those already are in 2 separate states. You got Virginia and Ohio. So wherever this new Hilltop is, Hershel is away from the people that matter to him.
Right, his cousins. He is.
Right. So, and not just his cousins, but all of those people who took care of him when all of this stuff was going on. Daryl's gone, Carol's gone, Ezekiel's gone. Pretty much all those people are at the Commonwealth or at Alexandria. Like I said, if anybody is still at Hilltop from the group, I would think that it would be Elijah and maybe Lydia. But we didn't see them in this episode, so they may not even be around. So you have this child who has already lived a very nomadic life up until y'all get to Alexander. Then you try to put down roots in Alexandria. You introduce him to these people who are family. And now it seems you've taken him away from these people. That's probably why he pissed off. Like, you got me up here around all these strangers somewhere that I don't want to be, living in an old factory, looks like, you know.
Yeah, and not having any attachments because she's not having any attachments to anybody because she don't want to go through what she's going through. But then now he doesn't have any attachment to
anything.
Some roots, something.
Yeah.
Like, you know, even at this point, I'm sorry, everyone else is finding second chance love. You're not even trying to date.
And then, you know, I did hear the funny thing that supposedly in the other show, originally Alden was brought in as a potential love match for Maggie. And that just seems so weird to me.
I could have saw that. I could have seen that.
No, because even when we've seen them, they always seemed more like once she got over her initial hate of him because he was a savior, they just seemed like he could have been her little brother. That's just the kind of the vibe I always got. So when I heard that,
and even when he died, she was like super. I mean, I get she was sad, but she was super upset that he was gone.
Yeah.
So it could have been possible because I'm thinking the type of person Maggie was, you see that she didn't have problems making connections with men in the beginning. And well, come on now, let's go back to history. She didn't. So at this point, it would have been nice if you did show her with someone and they're trying to talk reason with her, and she's like, no, I can't forgive Negan. I'm gonna use him or something. But having that she is like, we can see that she has made some progress and she has someone, but she's still like not getting too close to them, but they were bouncing off ideas, and then we'll look at her a little differently. Like, I truly had to make this choice to save my son.
Yeah. I'm looking at.
But instead, she just got a chip on her shoulder, which
that's probably what the chip is.
I wanted to say that. I'm like, yeah,
she needs to let some of this
go.
Energy out.
She need to get a little dip with her chip.
She does. Just as long as it's not with Negan, because I have seen people online shipping them too, and I'm like, no. I could kind of sort of see, because they have good chemistry, but as far as the two characters, no, that. And
I did though. I did, but watching it, no, because she can't. She literally can't. Now, I was able to ship them because of all the years of watching All My Children, Young and Restless, and One Life to Live. It's, you can get over some things that happen to you from another person, and you end up still, like, I don't know, dating and marrying them. I don't get it, but I can see that happening. However, now looking at it, like, she hasn't truly let that go. So they wrote her in the way that people, they're not going to make them fall for each other. The only thing that we can possibly get at the end is she, like, tries to save Negan, or she has some intimate moments, but not sexual intimate moments with him.
Right. Just enough for her to be like, okay, you know what?
She let her guard down. Yeah, she let her guard down and kind of, like, talk to him. That's the only thing we can,
see
like,
him as a person instead of this one image she always has of him. Because again, I am one of those people. I am big on redemption arcs. I am big on people being allowed to grow and change, because yes, it does happen. Yes, he did some horrible stuff. He was a shitty ass person. But 10 years down the road, if y'all are still treating him like he is this same person, like none of the stuff that he went through was enough to change him. I mean, think about it. Y'all kept him locked up for almost 7 years. First, if that don't change a person, nothing.
Right.
2, you have these people who actually took the time to try to get to know him. Like Judith had no prejudices against him. She was like, he's a different person. She even tried to tell Michonne that. She was like, he's my friend. He's the only person that really talks to me. Like, Negan was helping her with her homework. Come on now.
Right.
You know, when you can see these glimpses of this person and who he's trying to be, or he's trying to be like, okay, you know what? Obviously, me being an asshole didn't work, because look where I am now. Okay, let me figure something else out, because other than that, I'm going to be in these 4 walls for the rest of my life.
Right.
But yeah, at some point, she is going to have to let her guard down. She is going to have to, I feel like she's going to have to work out a way to actually trust him, because if she doesn't, she's going to end up with a train car in the tunnel situation again, where he has an opportunity to leave her by the wayside, and he's going to take it, because he's going to be like, what's the whole point?
That shit?
You treated me like shit. You're probably going to try to kill me again. At this point, like, what was he said in the last episode? He said, I thought you were already past this point, but obviously not. So what are we doing? Like,
right.
You called me. You came and got me. You've been breaking bones up the East Coast trying to find me. So obviously you need me more than I need you. Negan probably could have gone the rest of his life and never came across Maggie again, and he would not be bothered.
And you know what? He could have really solved his problems this episode, because he could literally just kind of like pushed her.
He could have.
And have her hang in there for a while. I'm just saying.
Or he could have just turned around and walked off and be like, oh, when she said, I got it. Oh, okay, you got it.
Okay. No, I'm talking about like push her so she can fall and see, you know what? I'm done with my problems. I'm going home.
Done that.
He wouldn't have. And that's the point. He's like, come on. Because it's no need to. I had to do it at the time. Right. Just like how he did that man. I can slit your throat, but I'm not going to.
He could have kicked her down the ladder into that little those walkers that were still falling from the sky. He could have kicked it down the ladder. He could,
but he's not doing that. But I have to watch my back with you, because once we get your son, y'all may decide y'all gonna leave me to some walkers.
Right.
Yep. And you know that's about to be a problem with Hershel when she shows up to save him and she got Negan with him. Especially since the Croat mentioned it and like rubbed salt in that wound.
Yes.
Have you met the man that killed your daddy?
Yes, I have. He saved my life.
Right.
Saved my mama's life.
Yes.
Saved the community's life.
Our people's. Yes. Come on.
Helped in the war.
Yep.
And you want to focus on two little bat swings.
Because you know what?
He
also helped in the Commonwealth too. So yeah. You know what?
Casey, that's wrong. That's wrong.
But I mean, yeah. But like I said, we could do a whole episode talking about this whole Negan thing. And you know, for some people, it just wouldn't make a difference. They're just determined to see him as the monster he was, as opposed to the person he has become now. And
someone has to be the bad guy, and it's him.
Right. But I also feel sorry for people who are like that, because again, you are saying that people can't change, that people can't learn, that people can't grow. You know, you're so stuck on.
You know what? That also calls back to The Walking Dead, when they took over the prison and found the prisoners. Not all of them were bad. Yeah, they was prisoners, but not every last one of them was bad.
Right. Some could just have speeding tickets that wasn't paid and wrote bad checks. I mean, seriously, like wrote bad checks. And then there's murderers, and then you just, I mean, y'all are doing the same thing. And it's not like Negan started off where he just was going to place killing people on purpose.
Yeah,
like a serial killer. He wasn't doing that. So we understand if he was a serial killer, okay, we can't. But this was a person who had to make changes to survive.
And
because ultimately,
people,
and ultimately we can wish that we will be great people in these situations. We can sit back and talk about, oh, I would be like this, I would do this, I would do this. But we don't know until we are put into that situation.
Right.
And with 3 of us on this podcast, we will have 3 different communities.
Yeah.
And one of us, it's not going to be so nice. And we don't know which one that would be.
Not right now.
It all depends on the
people. Not right now, right. You don't know.
Yep.
Because some could flip flip the switch, and we are. I don't know.
We be sitting there like, did you see what the hell?
And we're not gonna be alphas now. We're gonna be alpha. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
But you never know what.
No, out of 3 of us, we are not putting on no skins and stuff like that.
No. Yeah, no. And then we were not that cool to begin with, because Alpha wasn't a great mother to begin with.
Yeah, she was. So we
just know all the kids in my community getting their asses whooped. Y'all fucking with you.
We're gonna have some rules.
There's gonna be belts lined up when they get out of line. You know how they had the pikes? Some have belts on pikes. Like, get out of line.
It might be some people who like, what are y'all talking about? We old school. We are 80s babies. We got spankings.
Hello.
We got spankings that made us
switches.
Figure out real quick.
Matter of fact,
what we want finna act like.
Go to that tree and get your switch. Go get the switch. Just pick out your weapon. Choose your weapon, because
right. Okay, so the only other thing we really have to talk about in this episode is Pearlie Armstrong.
How he ain't see the squirrel sign?
I see.
What kind of police detective are you? You hunting the man.
And we didn't even need him. We didn't even need him this episode. We didn't.
I mean, his whole scenes are just giving us a little backstory on him, which, okay, here's a couple of other things that I have issues with as far as things that happen. So he has this envelope that belongs to his brother. That he has been looking at since the last episode. So he finally decides to try to go there because, of course, He got knocked out during his confrontation with Maggie and Negan. He's in the dry cleaner place. He can't get to his gun because walkers are walking past. And first of all, who's the first walker? It's your boy Grits. Like the person that you brought in who wasn't paying attention to the front door and got got stampeded and eaten by walkers. But anyway,
he must have trained at Hilltop.
Yeah, anyway. So Pearlie goes to the apartment complex or the apartment building where his brother lived. He tries to get in the door. Now, instead of just trying to kick the door open with one good kick, he kicks through the door and makes so much fucking noise. And I'm like,
I don't know how he got that job. Someone didn't come to work.
He's the worst.
Yes, he is.
Playing stealth for shit.
None.
And shooting.
Even if your brother was in there, he'd have shot your ass. You bamming and beating on my door like this?
Right. So he goes in the apartment. He puts a dresser in front of the door because, of course, the door is all broken up now. And he kind of goes through the apartment and see, and obviously his brother stayed alive for quite a while because you see all these empty cans where the brother had eaten all through this stuff. But then you also find drug paraphernalia on the stove. So obviously either his brother was a junkie.
Is that what that was?
Yes.
Okay,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of those. So I've never done drugs. I've never seen them up close. But if you look at different TV shows, you see how they have they'll put the little drugs in the spoon, and then they have the little glass thing where they smoke it. They smoke the vapors from whatever it is that they're burning. That's what was on the stove.
So he had the spoon for the crack.
Mm-hmm.
You saying?
Mm-hmm. He was a crackhead.
Because or heroin. Because I'm not saying I have. Okay, making this clear, I have not either, since we know what job I do. I'm just saying that I am aware that with the spoon, normally we will put crack in it and burn it, or heroin and burn and then get the needles. Was there needles?
I don't think I saw the needle. I think I just
that's
saw
I'm rewinding too. Like
I think I just saw the little bomb type thing. But in either way it goes, his brother was obviously a junkie. Now, whether he was a junkie when all this stuff went down or whether this was something that he did afterwards, I mean, I don't really know where you would go to find drugs during a zombie apocalypse at this point, unless you already knew. Yeah, unless you already knew where to go. So he goes through the apartment. He's trying to look for something. And obviously what we find out, he's looking for a gun case. I guess he knew his brother had it. But when he opens it up, the gun is gone. There are no bullets in the box. So he happens to be looking at a photo that was on the bureau wall, or door rather. And it's a photo of him and his brother, and I guess their parents when they were younger. And there's a mirror on the door, and in the reflection of the mirror, he sees a body slumped in a chair. So obviously this is his brother. So he goes into the room and he sees that his brother committed suicide. So I guess he was like, okay, I'm out of food. There may have been walkers all through the building. He was like, look, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to go ahead and end my life.
Mm-hmm.
So after he covers his brother's body up and he gets the gun, you hear walkers. And when he walks out the door, walkers are trying to get in through the door. Now, my question is, usually walkers, granted, they probably heard the noise from when he was trying to break down the door, but it's not like the walkers are going to go past the door and say, oh, this door has a hole in it, let us try to go in. So that again was a little confusing.
But remember, there were variants.
Those weren't no variants. And the variants only existed in the main show. And we see that.
Well, it's a continuation.
That part.
So with Negan and Maggie, and Negan seeing variants. So we need to have variants. I'm waiting for some to streamline across the rope too. We have to be able.
They gave us a variance in a show that ended without telling us any more about these variants. Like, no, these ain't variants in New York City. No, they're not. That's just sloppy writing.
It could be.
That's just sloppy writing. But anyway, so he gets out of a window. He goes down the fire escape. He goes into an alley, and like you said, he's looking there. There's a symbol on the wall, which I didn't even realize what that symbol was. Is it a squirrel?
A flying squirrel.
Oh, okay. So he sees the symbol on the wall, and he keeps walking, and he walks right into a trap. Okay. So come nightfall, you have walkers who have surrounded him in this trap, and it's one of those net traps. So he's basically dangling in the alley, and the walkers are trying to get to him. Then you see 3 people pull up that are obviously part of the Burazi, which is what the Croats people are called. And they have on these helmets that have like different spikes and different little things attached to them, and that they basically headbutt the walkers and kill them. I was like, why did anybody else ever think of that? Like, we need one of those helmets if ever a zombie apocalypse should appear. But it's the Croat, and he's got 2 of his people. They let Curly down, and he's like, oh, you're safe now. And then they take him. So I'm like, what this? I don't know if he's one of those people that gathers people and then gives them a choice. Oh, okay, you're going to join us or you're going to leave. But I guess I feel like that dude obviously was not coming for you. But then again, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Because his people who were able to go back and tell him, hey, we tried to raid this safe house, and this guy cut up one of our people and threw him over the balcony. They probably didn't really describe him, or they just said it was a man. So at this point, the Croat may not know who Pearlie is. He may think that it was the same person. So I don't know. But again, not a fan of Pearlie Armstrong. This particular scene, I was like, okay, I guess y'all are giving us some background, but all y'all are telling us is that his brother's a junkie and he had a gun. So I don't know. I just don't like the character so far. He does nothing for me, and I'm just like, okay, I really don't need to see him.
Me too.
Show me the Negan and Maggie stuff. Show me how we're moving forward.
Right.
So,
they got to give you filler.
Y'all can give me filler by telling me more about Hilltop and their practices for protecting the community and how the hell they got raided. Because again, like I said, you only got 1 guard. Y'all clearly aren't doing something right.
Well, you saw how they got raided. They had 1 guard. It probably was 4 guards before, so it still wasn't enough. They're hiring.
What are the job qualifications?
Apparently not shit.
Maybe not.
It can't be hard criteria.
Right. But I find it interesting that the Croat, who supposedly is this new menacing person, antagonist, we've only seen him twice so far. We catch him at the very end of the episodes, and it's just enough for us to look and be like, okay, that dude ain't wrapped too tight.
Yeah.
But
then my question is, how far is fucking Hilltop from Manhattan?
Right, that's my question.
Got her son and took him all the way fucking back.
Or even supplies, because even the other group was growing shit in the building. I'm confused.
Right. Oh, well, you know what? She did tell Negan when she followed them, she did say, I followed them up the Hudson. So maybe they are also using boats. So maybe she is near the water. But again, still, it's kind of like, I don't know, because thinking about it on the map, you've got Alexandria in Virginia. You've got the Commonwealth in Ohio. She's right now in Manhattan. So it's got to be somewhere in that
And then don't keep in mind, Oceanside was by the water.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, it was Oceanside, Hilltop. It was Oceanside, Hilltop, the Kingdom, and Alexandria.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all in
that was their
general
network.
Yeah.
And with Oceanside being on the water, and we know Alexandria is in Virginia, where's the Hilltop and the Kingdom?
Yeah.
And for him to bypass all of those, because now everybody's, where's the Commonwealth? Ohio, you said?
Ohio.
So, but there were still people in Alexandria. Remember, it was an outpost. So that space is still there. You didn't by chance run across.
Alexandria is probably further south than wherever the Hilltop is. And he probably didn't make it that far down at Alexandria. But again, Alexandria, our people going to have 10 people on the gates, especially after what they just went through with the Commonwealth. Yeah. And the fact that Ezekiel and Mercer are now, over the Commonwealth, you can't tell me they don't have soldiers outside of Alexandria now.
Oh, yeah, they do.
They do.
They probably have soldiers outside of all of our places. And again, this begs to question with Maggie and Hilltop. One, where does she move Hilltop to? One, why did she move it so far away from her family, her people? Mm-hmm. And then three, especially because Ezekiel would definitely have been like, oh, we'll send y'all some soldiers. So what happened? Did she distance herself from them again? Could that be the reason why Hershel is pissed? Like, what was the deal?
Yeah, Maggie got a whole lot of explaining to do.
Yeah. But I think we got everything. Did I miss it? Did we miss
No, that's it. That's everything.
Yeah. Because it was mostly the Negan and Maggie stuff. And then Hurley. And then the Hilltop stuff. And the Hilltop stuff really wasn't that much. It gave us more questions than answers, especially because of the flashback with Hershel, but
hopefully now that they've given us some story, they'll use these next few episodes to start explaining some of this shit.
Right, because we only have 4 episodes left in this show.
Because you can't just information, and not explain the information that I'm getting. Mm-hmm. It's confusing me.
Right.
But the only thing I do hope get resolved by the end of this is that fucking chip is gone, because it's getting on my fucking nerve.
Yeah. But also, I feel like if you're just giving information with a whole new show, like, you have to show me what the purpose was of this show. Because Maggie and Negan stuff, we could have got that in an additional season of The Walking Dead. Y'all could have given us another season and we could have explored that.
We could have.
So again, it's going to go back to what I've said about some other shows and, what we've said about Fear the Walking Dead. Just make it make sense. I'm not complaining about the fact that we have a Maggie and Negan show because I love those two characters. And I actually do love the dynamic. I love seeing how this relationship is progressing, or, how it's moving forward, because it started so violently and so horribly. Like, how do you take these two characters and you evolve them over a 10-15 year span? That's what I want to get out of the show. And you kind of do see that. But again, like we said with Maggie, she needs to let go. And maybe this show is going to show us that finally happening for her. Because I can say that after the conversation she had with Negan in the Commonwealth, after everything happened, where we see she doesn't forgive him, but there is kind of sort of a truce there. Like she said, she accepted the fact that he was a changed person, or that he was trying to change. Now, if you go from that to never seeing him again, I can kind of see how her feelings would regress, because you're not having to confront this issue. It's out of sight, out of mind. But now that you need him again, you are pulling up all of these feelings that you never resolved. So I can kind of see why that has happened. But again, at this point, you need to go ahead and resolve this, because holding in that kind of hate.
I'm not giving her that. I'm not giving her that because, like she said before, it doesn't never go away. Like, she has to face it every day. So she was still facing it when he wasn't around.
Right. And
that's what she said.
And I get that. I'm just trying to rationalize what could be happening with her. But even with that last conversation with Negan, she did say to him that she was going to try to forgive him, because I don't want my son to see that another person has this kind of hold over me.
And he still does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I have never been in a situation like that where I hated someone that much. I've had people do things wrong to me and this, that, and the other, but I've never gotten to the point where it was somebody that I was like, oh, if I had a chance, I would kill you. So I don't know what that type of healing is like. I don't know what is required of me to release that kind of hurt and hate and anger. So I can only speculate. But yeah, at this point, again,
it's a lot. I mean, I don't either, but just working with other people, it's a lot of work. And it's kind of hard because it's something where, therapy will help, and that's not a case in this situation.
Yeah, they don't have that.
It's work, and it's time, and it's work, and it's time. And I forgot that part where she said she was going to work on it, but if nothing is like making her work on it.
Yeah.
Again, I like that. Right. And I like, going back to something you said, I like that we have the Dead City. It could have just been The Walking Dead. I do feel like it's forced some. So that's just my opinion. I kind of feel like I love the two characters together and where this will go, but like everything else seems a little forced. And it would feel a little bit more natural if we were just continuing on something else from Walking Dead.
Right.
That's just me.
Yeah. Because again, like I said, the character of Pearlie Armstrong, like, I really don't see the purpose of having him, except for the fact that he's a marshal that's looking for Negan. But again, we're only 2 episodes in. We still have 4 episodes. Like Casey said, I'm hoping we'll get more information as far as like what the situation was, because Negan has already told Maggie what they said I did. It didn't happen that way. So it's kind of like, so what did happen? What's the backstory? Why are they looking for you, Negan? And then for them to know enough about Negan to be like, yeah, this man has been he's been strong arming his way, being greedy, gathering things, or what was it that they said?
That's not till next episode.
No, he said that in the first episode. When he was in the bar, he was talking about Negan, and he was like, he's built up an empire like a greedy king. And then he goes into the story goes, he once lined up a group of people and bashed a man's head in front of his pregnant wife. So yeah, he mentions that.
Okay, I do remember that now. When you say it that way, I'm like, okay, I do remember.
So it's like, okay, you say he's built up an empire like a greedy king. So I was like, okay, at some point, Negan must have made a name for himself doing the same. I don't know, but it's kind of like, I want that backstory. Like, did Negan go back into savior mode, or did he just kind of go back into the, okay, well, I'm going to get these people up under me and have all of these people around for me. But like, I just want to know what the difference is. Like, what's the whole backstory? What has Negan been doing these last however many years for him to be on Marshall's radars and stuff like that? So yeah, we got 4 more episodes to explore it though. So I hope that they give us the information that we need and not drag it out.
Yeah. I said they better move fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
But y'all have any final thoughts on the second episode?
I will say I liked how in the very beginning of the episode, they had the double doors with the hands coming through.
Oh yeah,
I like that.
Yes, very reminiscent of the Don't Dead open inside.
Yeah. I said, oh, I see what you did there.
But even with that, I was like, So y'all just standing there looking at the door while these things trying to come in. Oh, girl was already halfway up the ladder.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They gonna get it together, hopefully.
I hope so. And maybe then after they get it together, they need to go back to the Hilltop and let them get it together because what they're doing is not working. But anyway, as for that's it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.